Like I did say, we're going to double down on how the organized labor, the NLC precisely, is trying to be a part of the solution by calling the government to order and, of course, to do the needful. One of their demands is the immediate reversal of the hike in the pump price of petrol, which has upended the living conditions of Nigerians. And they say, the leadership of the NLC says, they feel betrayed by the federal government of Nigeria after negotiating what was a sizable minimum wage package. All of that hinged on, of course, some of these economic metrics that will not take away the impact of this new minimum wage. So let's speak to the head of information at the NLC headquarters. Comrade Benson Upah is joining us this morning to shed light on not just the labor demands, but the current state of affairs in the country. Comrade, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. It's good to see you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Right. Just summarize the labor's reaction to the developments of the past 48 hours. What were the conversations that you had at the leadership level since it came to light that the new reality is that we have a new pump price that is soaring above 1,000 naira in so many parts of the country?
Yes. A feeling of betrayal, a deep sense of betrayal, shock, trauma, pain, hopelessness, a sense of trepidation, fear, uncertainty. These are the feelings you have. Because clearly, in fact, let me first speak to the issue of betrayal. First, our attention was drawn to a publication yesterday where the senior special assistant to the president, Mr. Abdullahi, issued a denial that there was nothing like an understanding.
There was no agreement, essentially, that prices were going to stay low.
So, of course, we have issued a counter statement saying we stand by our own initial statement. And I want to reiterate here, at the very first meeting with the president, when he decided to apprehend the process of a negotiation, he made it clear, your 250,000 minimum wage demand is way out of the way, but I will pay if I will increase, I'm going to increase pump price from 1,500 to 2,000, even 2,500. Or we pay 62,000 as things are, and keep it that way. You have 1 hour to go and make up your mind. You can go and consult.
This was the agreement?
Yes.
This was the offer on the table?
Sure, on the table. And the labor leaders decided not to consult right there. They instead requested for a time frame, 1 week, but it's okay. Even if I'm traveling, I will keep that on hold and wait for you. So, and when they returned, they told Mr. President, with all due respect, we will not go for an increase in the pump price of PMS, because the labor leaders were conscious of the negative effect this was going to have on not just workers, every Nigerian, save the top 1%, who are completely subsidized. Okay? So, but beyond the issue of minimum wage, Mr. President told us on May 29th, 2023, that subsidy was gone, and accordingly, prices pegged up, leading to 500% costs across the board. rents, school fees, health, everything that actually spun this country 360 circles. Confusion, nightmare, fear, okay? Nigerians took that with equanimity. And at the time, they were trying to accept their fate. You introduce another shock. So this matter goes beyond time, increase to minimum wage, blah, 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 blah. Is that for how long will this shock treatment be given to Nigerians?
Did the NLC leadership have any inkling that this was going to happen? Were you given a heads up? Did you see this coming? I mean, you have unions, associations everywhere.
No.
Did you see this coming?
We didn't see this coming. And the reasons are this. Of course, oftentimes we keep our ear to the ground, but we didn't see this coming. And the reason is this. Here we have a government that keeps saying things are going to get better. We are doing this. Any moment from that, things are going to get better. And instead of things getting better, they're getting worse. So we believed government when it said things are going to get better, and that the policies it had put in place were going to lead to better conditions of living, and that the initial negative effects were expected because they were introduced to cause temporary pain, that the pains were temporary and they were not going to be long-term pain. But now we've entered the second year. We have how many months to make it 2 years? So we didn't expect this. All we expected from the policies government put in place, even though we told government, this road you've taken will not lead to where you say we're going. We told government, we did. But all we had expected as a movement was good results. Okay? But what we are getting are more pains, more renewed hopelessness, leading to more alienation and disillusionment. Yes.
Now, if you can just talk me through some of the other demands there, because you're also talking about a reversal of electricity tariff, you're also talking about protesters, human rights, you're also talking about the government lying to the people and so on and so forth. Take me through the other demands that are tied to the bigger picture of the current state of affairs in this country.
When government, in an inexplicable move, raised the electricity tariff by a whopping 250%, we objected and we demanded for a reversal. That if they did not, we were going to protest. And we kept our promise. We did hold, let's say, a 2-day national protest. Later, we were reassured when we met with the leadership of the National Assembly. At that meeting, members of the executives were invited, including the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, including the Minister of Power, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. They were all there to understand there. And we were told that there was no need to discuss the issue of tariff, that it had been settled. There would be a reversal. Shortly after that, instead of a reversal, there was another jerk, though not as massive as 250. I think that was about either additional 2% or so. I would say, is that it? So we were shocked. So then we said, you must keep your promise. You must reverse this hike, because this hike is not beneficial to anyone. By the admission of Man a couple of months ago, 300 businesses had folded up, and more have folded up since then. Those that have not folded up are passing on the cost of Band A. And let me at this point in time say that everybody is on Band A. Do not be under the illusion that you are not on Band A, because most of the entities that are on Band A are business people and well-heeled Nigerians. They just impose it on you if they feel where you live is a highbrow area. They just say, okay, we'll designate this place Band A. You may not get light, but you are Band A.
Right.
So the issue is this. That matter remains a pending issue, and we're demanding that there has to be a reversal. In the course of the End Hunger, End Bad Governance protests, quite a number of people were arrested. And we said, release them. Don't criminalize civil protests. Nigerians, in fact, the right to protest is enshrined in our constitution. It is enshrined in the African Charter on People and Human Rights. It is enshrined in the body of other both local and international laws, including the ILO Convention, which Nigeria is a signatory to, the appropriate ILO conventions. So we said, release these people. But government is prosecuting some of them on charges of criminal conspiracy, subversion, treasonable felony, terrorism financing, and cybercrime. This is a clear case of intimidation. Okay? So that tomorrow, when they say, when it is within your right to protest, you begin to look at what has happened or what is happening. And we're demanding, this is a direct subversion of our democracy and must end. And we're demanding the unconditional release of those being prosecuted or those in custody.
Yeah, I get the sense that there is a trust deficit between the relationship, within the relationship that Labour and the government has, especially this particular administration. How do you negotiate in good faith with someone you can't trust, or whose words you can't trust? Because you pointed out at several points in time, whether it's the negotiation for the minimum wage or the electricity tariff, where the government says, okay, we're going to concede and do this, but they end up doing something entirely different.
In fact, even before that, I'm sorry for the interruption, our MOU of June 5, 2023, government willfully observed in breach virtually all the terms and conditions. The one of October 2nd, 2023, the same thing. These were the issues that led to our starchy relationship. Because here we had the government saying one thing, we are committed to ABCD, and you find the government acting in a completely different way and manner. Here we had the government in the course of minimum wage and negotiation after our protest, inviting the military in truckloads to the venue, okay? And we were shocked. And we said, remember, who is now inviting the military? Remember, who has invited the military? So, out of embarrassment, because the matter became internationalized. In fact, that night I couldn't sleep because calls from everywhere around the country and outside the country. So it was out of embarrassment that they withdrew the truckloads of soldiers. What are we talking about? And we keep saying, it does appear those now in power have forgotten their own history. They have forgotten the number of days they spent in Ojota protesting against the Jonathan administration, among others. They got other administrations before this. They didn't do anything to them. Yet they will not allow anybody want to talk. And we say, this is not going to happen. This Nigeria belongs to all of us. Nobody is going to intimidate. Nobody is going to cow us into submission. And Nigeria is known for its robust spirit. They can't kill that spirit.
And speaking about that spirit, before we do that, because a lot of Nigerians are watching, and I can understand that there is a lot of emotion in this conversation because of how the livelihoods of millions of people have been affected, how parents look into the eyes of their children, feeling a sense of disappointment that they are unable to provide for them as much as they would love to, alongside so many other issues. But we also understand that the authorities are clearing their hands off of this particular surge in price of the product. The NNPC, for instance, said, listen, we didn't authorize any price hike. We didn't okay it, we didn't green light it. So there's clearly a sign that this is something happening outside of the regulatory provisions or purview. What do you say to those, comments from the NNPCL, for instance?
We talked about a lying government, and I'm going to substantiate that. Remember, while we were holding a conversation around the first wave of increase in June, there was another one. You remember? There was one, not as massive as the first one. Government said, in fact, the committee that was deliberating with us, that said that it was market forces that did that. The government had no hand in that one. Do you understand? So you find a government that is being economical with the truth. Who owns NNPC? Company Limited, whatever it is. I read the letter by the Minister of Petroleum Resources, and I grimaced. I shook my head. These guys are insulting our intelligence, our collective intelligence. They don't even have the guts to defend what they are doing. That is why they're passing them. Oh, we're not responsible for this. We're not responsible for that. They should have the guts to own up what they're doing to the people. I drove to this place today, and the streets were empty at rush hour. And I shook my head. I said, but this is not good. What that points to is that the country is shutting down involuntarily. It's shutting down, and it's not good. And it's shutting down at a time government is getting very, very rich. Crude oil prices are doing well at the international spot market. In fact, if they bring $1 million and change it into naira, do you know what it means here? Do your math. So there is so much money made outside, so much money made inside here. But where is the positive effect of it on the citizenry? Where is the hope, let alone the renewed one, the renewed hope agenda we've been, that we get bombarded with every day. So ask yourself, so the country is shutting down. Tempers are building up. Like you said, you wake up in the morning, you can't feed your family. You look up, you can't recharge your light. You look out, you can't buy food and put on the table. See, go to the market, ask for the smallest tuber of yam, which is our staple food. Go to the market. The violated bag of rice is now 85,000. What I mean by violated bag of rice, the bag has been rebagged. It's not the full 50 kg that you get. You don't get that. The smallest tuber of yam in Abuja, as I speak with you, of this size, is 1,500. And Abuja happens to be at the heart of agriculture. So by the time these yams are transported to areas like Lagos and other states that are not into active yam production, the prices quadruple. Transportation cost, the extortions on the road, and the profit.
Yeah. And in talking about that spirit that we say we're going to circle back to, you get a sense from our interactive session this morning that the cup is full now.
Yes.
When it comes to the feelings,
Yes.
the frustrations, and the satisfaction of Nigerians.
Yeah.
We've often talked about the perseverance of the population, right? Do you think time is running out for the government when it comes to how much more the people can endure?
I would have loved to answer you directly, but due to reasons best known to me, I will not directly answer you. Rather, I will tell you this, that the signs are there for those who want to listen, who want to see that the people have taken it up to this level. And something has to be done urgently to restore hope. You see, the tragedy of the extreme right-wing market reforms this government
You think
is
it's
put in place.
extreme right?
Yes, it's I mean, this government is fundamentally market. It's the first government in the history of this country that is 100% market.
You think it has free market philosophies?
No, not just free market, extreme market policies. Okay, that is money. Everything is viewed from the prism of business. What's in it for me? Okay, so it's market. I mean, this government is fundamentally market. Well, some economies have done well on this trajectory. But one thing they never forgot or they never forget to do is to cushion these effects. Countries that run market policies, not even as right-wing as this one, countries that run market policies, they have social protection measures.
Safety nets.
Safety nets. Situations like this, you know, US, remember, they put things like subsidy. I can't remember the exact name that they use for them. Vouchers. You get voucher for this, you get voucher for that, and all of that. Transportation is subsidized. Like in Israel, for instance, it's a state policy. They say it's social service. The Egged transport company is the biggest transport company in Israel. And I think it's about the second biggest in the world after Greyhound. They subsidize this. Even as Israel is not it's not a good example of market because in fact it's a highly subsidized economy.
Right.
A good example would be, say, US. But they put those measures in place right to those who are unemployed. The money they receive, some sarcastically call it the dole. Okay? But here we have a situation where the government has not put in place any safety net, has left the vulnerable in the middle of the ocean, and everybody is swimming for their life. This is dangerous. So if government has gone market as it has done, it is incumbent upon it to also learn, anticipate, learn, and do those things that are necessary to sustain the market policies.
Right. And just before we go, we understand also this week that the Presidential Tax Reform Committee is about to propose a 10% increase on taxes in this country. In a few seconds, if you can advise the committee on what they're planning to do or advise the administration to do, what would you want them to know?
They should drop the idea that is going to drive the final nail into the coffin. Let them drop the idea. Let them review their policies and see which of them can engender productivity. Policies that can stimulate production, collective production stroke productivity. If they notice companies have been exiting or winding up, they should sit down with them and find out what can we do for you that can sustain you, that can make you expand your operation. They should do that. Instead of doing that, do you know what government does? They keep jetting around spending our money looking for investors. Have you seen the Chinese president or the United States president looking for investors, shopping around the world looking for investors? Even Zambia here, look at Zambia, that is just a small country compared to Nigeria. What Magufuli did before he died, investors rushed to Zambia. So the moment you are doing the right thing, the moment there is energy security, in fact, the moment the environment is good, they will flood to your country. So the best thing to do for government, instead of sucking even the little fluid that is left in us, now government wants to suck it, we will just dry up until we disintegrate into powder. Government should banish thoughts on tax hike. That will not put more sustainable money on the table for them. And in any case, we should advert our minds to the philosophical saying of Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun said, when taxes are high, few people pay. When taxes are generally moderate, more people pay. So taxes will not solve the problem of business. What will solve this problem is policies that will engender productivity and so on and so forth. And Obama did it. Obama came in, found his country in a recession, gave money to business, raised wages. He cranked the economy. And there was a bullish run for 12 good years. Lessons, these are good lessons in economics. And we should not pretend not to know them. So let government banish tax. As it is, companies are growing under multiple taxes. You must have seen in your video clips, some of video clips of why people, foreign companies or their executives saying why they can't come to Nigeria. So taxes. So make it possible, create a good environment for business to thrive. So not to suck the little oxygen that is still left.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Comrade, and on that particular note, we're going to have to leave it here for now. Thank you most kindly for joining the conversation. As always, we appreciate your very spirited insight on this particular talking point. I must say that the next few days and weeks would be quite interesting, especially looking forward to what Labour will do next vis-a-vis its demands to the federal government. Thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak.
It's my pleasure.
Stopping by.
I'm honored. Thank you very much.
And this is where we'll have to end the conversation for this morning. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the front pages of some select national dailies to bring you up to speed with the stories making the headlines. Newspaper Review is up next.